What is going on, you guys? Today we're going to be talking about, should you buy a MazdaSpeed 3, maybe for your first car, or if you're looking to get something newer, maybe you like Mazdas or whatever. So today we're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of the MazdaSpeed 3. I've owned this car for 2 years now. This is a 2008, so it's the second year of the Gen 1 Speed 3, and most of these things apply for the Gen 1 and the Gen 2 as well. Not so much the Gen 2, they usually worked out most of the kinks by then, but we're going to be going over tons of things that you should probably know before you buy one of these or consider buying one of them. I have to say, overall, I do love this car. Like I said, I've owned it for 2 years. It's the newest thing I've owned. I actually genuinely like the car. A lot of you guys seem to think I only have old, crappy Volkswagens, but this is my daily driver. I've been daily driving this car for 2 years now, over 2 years now. Like 2 years and a month, around there. So I'm going to go over what I like about the car, what I don't like about the car, what I wish Mazda did, what I wish they fixed, and maybe you guys can consider this before buying one, or maybe this will interest you into getting one, or maybe not getting one. So let's go over those things right now. Okay, so one of the things that I'd like to talk about first before you think about buying one of these or whatever is they're kind of getting older. I'm specifically talking about the Gen 1s here. The last year the Speed 3 was 2013. Like I said, this is an 08. So this car is 10 years old already, which is hard to believe. Yeah, it's 10 years old already. It's crazy. So one of the things to consider is resale value is not very high on these. When I bought this car, it had 102,000 miles, and I bought it for $9,700 out the door with tax, title, tags, all that crap. $9,700 with 102K on it, which wasn't terrible. It was justifiable. It wasn't, crazy amount for the car. But now if I were to sell this car, I'd be looking at probably getting around $6,000 for it. It has 135,507 miles on it, if that. I think I just hit 135.5 on it. So this car does have 135,000 miles on it. It's not bad, and it's held up so far. So that's one of the things is resale value. I know a lot of people looking to buying a car, maybe selling it. There is one thing I have to say. If you are like a student, college or even high school, these things aren't the best on gas. This is mainly going for the people that consider daily driving these. If you have a car that's similar to this now, it's not as big of an issue. But like, I think on the highway I get like 24, 25, maybe 26 miles a gallon. I think a full tank lasts like 215 or 220 miles to an entire tank. Something to consider when you're thinking about buying one of these. If you already have like something that's better on gas and you want to keep it that way, this probably isn't the best thing for you. It's not the worst thing. It's better than a V8 for the most part, but it's nothing amazing. So let's talk about horsepower and torque. This car is literally stock. It has a resonator delete and it's on BC Racing coilovers. But besides that, I kept the car stock because I was dailying it, because I wanted something reliable. And these come with 263 horsepower at the crank and 280 foot-pounds of torque, which isn't bad. That's not bad out of the box. And another great thing about this car is it's a very moddable platform to start. There are crazy Speed 3s out there, but I decided to keep mine stock. So talking about the horsepower and torque, 280 foot-pounds of torque for a little 4-cylinder front-wheel drive isn't a crazy amount, but it's definitely a good bit. So with that being said, the motor mounts in this aren't the best, specifically the rear. Rear motor mounts are pretty much like a service on this car. Like, they typically go around, like, I think anywhere from like 40 to 60,000 miles. I replaced my passenger side and my rear motor mount. Thankfully, there are companies like Cobb and Damon Motorsports that make stuff for these where you don't have to worry about as much. But usually when you upgrade to motor mounts, either the material they use or if you get solid motor mounts, a friend of mine had solid motor mounts, and then it creates a more vibrations and more stiffer of a car, but that is fixable. So that is one of the bad things about this car. Motor mounts don't last very well, and that is pretty important if you want to get rid of vibrations and clunkiness and all that crap. So on the topic of the things that aren't the best about this car, another thing is they are known for timing chain issues and turbo seal issues. Sometimes turbos go around like 100,000 miles, even less. They'll just start smoking at idle, they'll smoke at startup. You'll definitely know when your turbo's blown. Thankfully, this one's held up. Like I said, 135K on it. The timing chain, I did get replaced at 110,000 miles. It gets slack in it, and the timing chain gets really loose. It can jump timing, or like what happened to mine is, every time you start it, you'll hear a rattling noise, and it'll slap against the valve cover and just butcher it all up. But that is one of the issues. So motor mounts, timing chain, and turbo are things to be careful of. Check if you're going to look for one, or if you already have one, maybe you'll hear that rattling noise. It's pretty noticeable though. You'll definitely know that it's an issue. But those are just things that are, I'd say, I don't really like about the car so much. and they're not the cheapest things to fix. And again, if it's a daily car, if you're working, if you're going to school and you're driving this car every day, those are things you don't really want to happen or have to deal with when looking at getting a somewhat newer car for a younger person, you know, not brand new obviously. And yes, these cars have their issues, they are older. But moving on to the good things in the car, the things I like about this car that make it worth it is it's all around a very nice car. It's comfortable to drive, the seats are nice, it's 4-door, it's a hatchback, you have room, it's a very easy car to take somewhere, very drivable car. Also, it is a 6-speed manual. These all come with a 6-speed manual, no 5 speeds, not bad on the highway. Like I said, it's a very, very moddable platform. There are crazy Speed 3s out there. There's tons of companies that make parts for these cars, which is nice. Cobb, Cork Sport, I mean, there's tons of companies. And all around, it's just a nice car to get in and go. I've never had any issues with it. Never left me sit. The only thing, like I said, was the motor mount and the rear motor mount and the passenger one, and then the timing chain. I haven't had any issues with my turbo yet, so can't complain there. And like I said, I do drive this car every day. I don't baby it. I do get on it. It's, you know, it's quick. It's fun. It's an impressive car for what it is. People that don't know what it is are usually like, wow, that's cool. And I do recommend buying one, but these are just things to consider, you know. Look at the cost of what it would do to get your timing chain done, or if the turbo goes out. Like, that's why I put money aside before I bought this car, in case those things were to happen, so I knew that I was safe if they were to happen, which 2 out of 3 things happened. Not that bad. But for the most part, I must say, I genuinely do like this car. I will show you guys the interior. This is the sport model. They came with a GT model as well. And I think the GT model actually had some leather on the seats here. Don't mind the stains and everything. Like I said, I just get in this car and I go. So yeah, nice seats, very, very comfortable. Pretty good styling. Nothing crazy, but nice and simple. Gauge cluster, same thing. Very simple. Got your tach, your speedo, your fuel, and your coolant temp. Not bad. Little storage compartments here and there. 6-speed manual, like I said. Has an aux cord, has a charger here and one in the center console as well. That's where the aux cord is located. Glove box, mine's a mess, but you can fit a small child in there if you'd like to. Compartments over here, over here. Rear has cup holders and everything as well. So all around, this is a nice car. For someone that's just looking to get into a car and go, not spend a crap ton of money, this is a great car and willing to have fun, and something you might want to mod down the road. And I do have a lot of friends that have these cars that are decently modded as far as bolt-ons go, as far as you can go, maxing out the boost, and they daily drive them and they haven't had any issues, you know, here and there, but for the most part they hold up very well. There are crazy things you can do to these cars. There's a company called Fortune Flares, or Fortune, yeah, I think Fortune Flares. They make wide body kits for the Gen 1 and Gen 2. They look awesome. I actually have a front splitter I need to install, but for the most part, I am pleased with this car. I have not sold it because of the reason that I am attached to it, and I genuinely enjoy this car, and I would like to modify at some point. It's just, I'd like to retire it from being daily driven. So, and a lot of people do ask me, like, would you sell this car? I honestly would for the right price. You know, nothing crazy, obviously. It's a stock, daily driven car, mainly highway mileage. But if you are interested in buying this car and you're serious and you live in this area, so I don't have to worry about out-of-state crap, message me on Instagram, because I would consider, like I said, the color of this car is true red. They came in pretty cool colors, pretty simple colors, pretty cool colors. This one's my favorite. That's why I got a red Gen 1. I either wanted red or white, and I'm very happy with the red. It's pretty vibrant. It's nothing, you know, it's not crazy. There's no crazy metallic flake. It's just a nice car. And yeah, honestly, as far as like interior quality goes, it's as good as a, you know, 10-year-old Mazda is gonna get. The stitching on the seats is nice contrast, same with up here, and everything's very simple, very easy to use, not an overcomplicated car by any means. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys were in the market for a Speed 3 or considering buying one, maybe you have one now and you're like, maybe this is something I didn't know, these are the things to take into consideration. All around, I'd rate this car like a 7.5 out of 10, just as far as like considering all that stuff, the motor mounts, the timing chain, the turbo, things to consider, and then all the good as well. Like I said, this is a car you can load up with your friends, you can load up with luggage, and it's good to go, and parts are out there, which is the great thing. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything you want to add, maybe like something that I'm not aware of or something I didn't mention, maybe it's a good thing or a bad thing, leave them in the comment section below or DM me on Instagram. And like I said, if someone is honestly looking to buy one and you're in the Harrisburg, Hershey, Pennsylvania area, message me and we can talk about it. Like I said, I'm not set on it. I haven't posted this car. I did considering selling it before, but I do love this car. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week and stay tuned for more videos.